Good morning. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hi. This is going to be day one with this Mustang. It is just before 6 a.m. I think my plan is going to be to get this lead rope on. Since I was able to start touching her cheeks and under her chin yesterday, I'm hoping if I can get this on, I'll let her hang out in here for a little bit with it on, let her figure out how to get used to pressure on her own. So yeah, I'm just gonna put this on her right now, and then, yeah, let you hang out for a while. Hi, kid. She's so friendly. Let her hang out for a while. I'm gonna feed the other horses, and then I'll come back in with her. When I start with just approaching them to either halter them or pet them or put a lead rope on them, and I was able to pet her a little bit on the pickup day video, which you guys saw, I just do a lot of approach and retreat. So I'm going to walk up to her. If she stands still, I'll let her sniff me, and then I'm just going to back up. So I'll do this until she feels comfortable enough for me to start touching her and petting her. And sometimes I like to move them around a little bit too, it just depends. Now I'm using hay to get her a little bit more comfortable with me right now. She's a big foodie. Alright, she's got a lead rope on. Don't come near me. So sometimes this can get a little ugly depending on if she steps on it, if she doesn't like the rope dragging behind her. I'm trying to move away, that way when she does freak out, she doesn't run at me. Hi, stop walking towards me. You're a goof. You are a goof. I would prefer to not be in your way. That really wasn't a bad reaction. So the reason we put the lead rope on and let them walk around with it on for a little while is to teach them pressure before we actually get our hands on the rope. Ideally, I want to get a horse yielding their hindquarters first, but that round pen is a little bit too big to work with a new feral horse in, and the pen that we're in isn't a round pen, and there's way too many obstacles and objects in the way. What I would like to normally do is to be able to get them moving around without a rope on, and then just move their hips with my body language or whip cues. That way I can transfer over to the lead rope a little bit smoother. Luckily she's pretty friendly and willing, so I'm able to put the rope on her in here, so I don't have to absolutely round pen her and move her hips around without a lead rope like I would normally do at the start. But this is also good because then the rope can touch all of her legs and get her used to the field. I'll just let her hang out in here with the rope on while I feed everyone breakfast, and then I'll come back in a couple minutes. So I went back in and I just started moving her around. One, I wanted to see her movement, and two, I like to get their feet moving, get them thinking. So I'm trying to be pretty good about sequencing my cues right now. I'm asking her with my body language, putting my hand up, and then asking with my whip and voice. And she's pretty relaxed, so I actually do have to tap her with the string on the stick quite a few times. So again, I start light and then I'm going to escalate. I already have a feeling this mare is going to be a little bit on the lazy side. She's pretty relaxed with everything. So now this is going to be my first time with my hands on the rope, and I always pick it up with a whip from a little bit further away because I always worry that if I get super close on the ground under them that they could potentially strike or come at me or even just kick me by accident. The first thing I do with leading is ask them to move to the side. It's so much easier for a horse to resist and sit back against pressure if you're asking them to come straight forward rather than taking them off balance and getting them to take a side step just like that. So you'll see me go from side to side a lot when I'm leading a new horse. Her first response to it is to back up. So she's not really a big bolter and she's not striking out or anything, but she likes to step backwards and kind of resist through her neck. So you can see again I'm on the side of her right here. She gave her head, so she found that release in the lead rope on her own. Now I'm going to ask her to turn her head again. See if I can get her to find that release. Good. So she found it right there. So it's really important to release immediately as soon as your horse starts to either step that way or even just turn their head if it's really their first time leading. You want to make sure you're rewarding the right things. Good, so even just that, I had a little mini release in there for her. Good, so she's resisting a little bit with her neck. You can see with my rope, and I've gotten a lot better with this since I've worked with quite a few of these guys. I have mini releases within because if you just keep a constant pressure, they can pull against that so easily. There has to be certain hand placement. Good, and right there, that yielding of the hindquarters, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I try to move with her a little bit. I want to get her to straighten up. She kind of wrapped herself up here. So I'm gonna, yep. So that's the first time she got away from me. Now you really don't want to let one of these horses get away from you, or really any horse for that matter, because then they'll start learning that they can get away and that's an easy way for them to leave. So now I'm trying to switch the rope to one that's a little bit longer because I don't want to make that mistake again of letting her get away. My positioning was bad on that. So again, I'm going to go off to that side and see if we can just get her front end to move. Good, and that she gets a release from. It's kind of hard with the water bucket and tree and other obstacles on the other side of the pen in the way, but we're going to make do. So like I said, she's one that likes to back up. So you saw I gave that little mini release there when she turned because I knew if I hung on, she would really flip around right there. Good. It's really all about when the right time is to give the release and let the rope slide through your hands a little bit and when to pull back. So again, she keeps getting that rope on the other side of her neck. She's kind of holding a steady pressure against it, so I'm also trying to hold a steady pressure against it. Good, and I was able to get her hip to turn around over there. So she got herself into the corner, so now I'm just trying to drive her forward, see if we can work with some forward momentum to get that hip to yield. Good. You can see she has that big resistance there, so even just the tiniest step I'm going to reward for. And again, I'm still going off to the side. So much easier to move your horse that way rather than to pull them straight forward. So again, it didn't look like she moved in towards me, but she did take that little step. Now we get into a little bit of a match right here. Right there is going to be her second time getting away from me, so really not great, but I'm trying my best not to get her tangled in all of these obstacles in here, so I am going to release if I feel like it might turn into a dangerous situation. I much rather would have to hang on to a rope of a horse that's a little bit stronger than have her get tangled up in something. So I did release there because there was all those posts around. What I decided to do was, because I don't want her getting tangled in those posts over there, was I was going to use the tree for a little bit of leverage. I don't want to teach her that she can pull back and that'll be the release of pressure. I also don't want to completely tangle her up in this tree either, so I'm giving her quite a long line. Right now she's just kind of being a carousel pony going around it. So here I still did not have enough leverage and my hands were about to get caught up by the tree, so I had to release. Again, really bad on my timing, but this is just going to show that, like, I've done this how many times and I can still make mistakes. Not the horse's fault at all, just mine. The space that I'm in, my timing is a little bit off. Good, so now I'm getting that front end to move and unlock again. Just looking for that hip to yield or her shoulder to come in. There we go.
Good girl. There you go.
She really likes her head being scratched. I did crop quite a bit of this so the video wouldn't be insanely long, but literally about 50% of the session is just scratching her head or neck.
That's because you just ran into it. Monkey.
Like I said, normally, like you saw with Rue, I like to start in that round pen. And I'm sure if some of you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you've seen the pictures of me going through the air holding onto the rope for the first time with Mustangs. She just gave in really nice right there. I quickly try to undo this, that way I can release her if need be. I don't want her to be tied to this, but I am going to use it as a leverage point right now. But yeah, I normally use the round pen, but I don't want her getting caught in those posts over there, so I want to at least teach her pressure so she doesn't continue to get away and it turn into a dangerous situation. So now I'm trying to get her to move away to test it, because she's just kind of standing and chilling.
You're not awfully spooky, are you? You're a dork. Good girl.
So you can see I'm giving little releases here. She's really wanting to sit against it. And there's that release.
Good girl. Good.
Good, so if anything started to go really bad there, she's not tied to the tree. I can release and she would let go. But at the same time, I know she's going to be in that area around the tree, which is pretty clear. It's not near the other half of the pen with all the objects. So I feel like she's in a pretty safe scenario over there. Had to be quick there. If I didn't move my hand, she definitely would have crushed it in the tree.
Good girl.
So you can already tell from that reaction, it was so much faster. She started to understand what to do. So again, I literally just used the tree for those two times.
Good girl.
Now you can see she's a little bit softer and she really understands how to give to that pressure. She's starting to understand how to give to it. Not that she fully understands, but...
Good girl.
So now I get to do the tag removal. It's always one of the coolest parts. We got her tag off, we got some forward steps. I'll see if I can walk her around a little bit with this camera view. Good girl. Good, you can see I'm at a little bit less of an angle now. See how I'm still moving to the side. I'm still moving around if she gets stuck, but I'm more in front of her and asking her to come straight forward rather than completely at like a 90-degree angle. Again, that release and the timing of that release is so important. So normally I don't introduce them to fly spray this early on, but I don't know if you saw in any of the clips, but the flies are pretty bad here, so I've decided I wanted to just see what she thought about it.
Spray a little bit on her nose.
So what I do first is I just spray it next to them so they can see it. I let them sniff it if they want to.
Good girl. I know, these flies are bugging me so much, which is why I went to this first.
Just sprayed that side and she didn't really seem to mind.
I know, it smells. It has a smell to it. What do you think? It's not edible. You will get hay, I promise. You will get breakfast. You gonna let me spray this side of you? Yeah? You can't eat it. No. I think she thinks it smells good. Huh. I need to spray this side of you, kid. Good girl.
So I tried to remove the pressure of it there before it got too much for her. You could see her leaning away.
Pretty good mare.
She did a really good job.
Very good girl. All right, I'm gonna say that's good. I'm gonna end by good girl coming forward by petting her on both sides. Right, kid? We go right up to this neck and pet it. Good job. It's a scary side.
So this was a really awesome day one session in my mind. I probably worked her for 35 minutes total. Like half of it was literally just petting her and scratching her because it's not going to be all heavy work. Most of it isn't. It's really just getting them comfortable with people and feeling safe around you and in their environment. I will have more training days coming out with her. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoyed this video.